the January meeting of the Little Compton School Committee. And I'd like to ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You all, just take a moment of reflection, bow your heads and open your hearts. Thank you all. I would like to consider a motion to enter into an executive session.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Then we can go into an executive session. Thank you, Jonathan. Back to open session. There was no votes taken in executive session. I consider a vote to seal the minutes of executive session. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes to seal the minutes. Consent agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda. Actually, Sean, how do we do this with November 9th? The only members that were present were myself, Michael, and Hannah. So we would be the only ones to be able to approve the minutes of that.
That's correct. So you can do it one of two ways. You can approve the consent agenda without that particular item and then approve that afterwards.
Okay.
That's how to do it. Or you can approve that first and then approve the rest of the.
All right, perfect. So motion from either Hannah or Michael to approve the minutes 4.1 from the school committee regular meeting on November the 9th.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. And then I will look for a motion to approve the entire consent agenda 4.2 through 4.6.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Spotlight, fall, winter activities at Wilbur McMahon School, art exposition, Buck Hill, science engineering fair. You almost ran out of characters.
You know what?
On that
I had
agenda.
to cut Buck Hill out of it because I think I've covered it a couple of times. I know I messed up the last time we were here. Anyways, I'll start with a quick IB update. What you have in your hand, I want to thank Miss Heather Fitzgerald, our admin assistant, who, with the help of Amy Lotz, our IB coordinator, put this together. This is something that IB requires us to have on hand for prospective parents, family, students, when they come in. That's our January update. Miss Lotz was going to be here tonight, but unfortunately could not make it. So she did have something for me to update. The Wilbur and McMahon Middle School has now officially completed its candidacy phase of the International Baccalaureate program and has entered the final stage called authorization. We're now waiting confirmation for our verification visit, which will occur this spring. We're thinking along the lines of May, and which should signify the end of the authorization process. At this time, our appointed authorization consultant, Ms. Fiona Clark, begins to review our submitted documentation and will formulate official feedback of our progress in early spring before the verification visit. She won't necessarily, in fact, she probably won't be the person who comes to visit, but she is looking at all the information that we've built from our last visit in the spring, things we need to work on. And Fiona has that. But we're in pretty good shape right now when it comes to IB for actual authorization taking place in the spring. And again, that heavy lift, the entire staff here, and in particular, our IB coordinator, Amy Lotz, should be recognized for that. But again, wait until we get that come May. John, if you could. So we've had a couple of things that took place for the holidays. The first thing, December 16th, we had our winter semi-formal dance. We invited our sixth graders for the first time. We did not have them at our first dance, but the students we had them dress up in no jeans, collared shirts. As you can see, some of the boys were dressed in ties. They looked fantastic. And the girls looked great as well. Students were treated to a free pizza, compliments of our PST. Visit from LCPD Officer Stewart. Just came by to see the kids. But I want to thank a lot of staff members, Ms. Cole, Ms. Miller, Mr. DeLeo, Mr. Julio, Ms. Conley, for helping chaperone the semi-formal. Next slide. Our winter arts exposition took place the following Tuesday. I believe it was December 20th. Our bands in grades 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 all performed, as well as our grades 4, 5, 6, and a combination 7, 8 chorus. For a lot of these students, this is their first time getting up on stage in front of such a large audience. And as we all know, that's not the easiest thing for them to do, but they came through with flying colors. Additionally, if you could move along, John, we also had our arts department, Mr. DeLeo had some of the student work on display for, students to look at, for parents and grandparents to look at, some self-portraits. I have just a couple of pieces of work here. Next slide. Some self-portraits, some clay sculpture, and some landscapes. The kids are truly talented artists in our building. This coming Saturday, we have our competition. It's Wilbur McMahon First Tech. First Tech is an organization. It's a robotics organization in the state. Our students, these are just 7 of them. I believe there's a total of 12, 7th and 8th graders. And they built, you can see that robot in front that has these multi-directional wheels and a little claw. They have a particular project that they have to move the robot around, pick up certain things and move it during the competition. That competition is this weekend at New England Tech. They are leaving our parking lot at 6:45 in the morning on Saturday, and they probably won't be returning till about 5 o'clock in the evening. So it's a long day for them, but they're all looking forward to it. Next slide. Our boys and girls basketball team have been up and running now for about a month. We started the first week of December. Because of scheduling, we've only had 3 games up to this point, but tomorrow we will have our 4th, and we're kind of moving along into the schedule right now, and the kids truly enjoying being back, competing on the basketball floor. This next slide, this is Mr. John Pierce, and he is with Race Newport. Miss Morash and Miss Sullivan, I think, have done this in the past. This is the old Volvo round the world sailboat race. It has changed. Volvo is no longer they don't sponsor the event anymore. But this is also, it's not just a race around the world, it's also an educational piece. This is Mr. John Pierce. He is a father of a 2nd grader. And he is going to be meeting with the students a couple of times over the course of the next few months as the sailors race around the world. They just took off Monday from someplace in Spain. They're heading to the Cape Verde Islands on their first leg. And then they'll be going down to the southern tip of Africa. And from there, it's a long journey between Africa and the east coast of Brazil. It's a long race. And they are going to be doing some FaceTiming with our students along the race path, which is really neat. But they have links to science, math, geography, language, social, emotional as well, and art. And the final thing that's going on is happening this coming Wednesday, and it's Wilbur McMahon 8th grade science and engineering fair. It takes place, we have 12 judges on Wednesday, January 18th. The students will present their projects. We're looking forward to it. Miss Brazil, who is our 7th, 8th grade science teacher, truly knocks it out of the park when it comes to the students' preparation. She's fantastic when it comes to this. Last year, we had 7 students who were recognized and did perform at the Rhode Island State Science and Engineering Fair that takes place in March. And hopefully, we're lucky enough to have some students who can follow suit this year. So that's what's going on here in the school.
We had several students last year place.
Two kids finished in the top 10, top out of 98 students in their age division.
Go ahead, Michael.
Jack, sorry.
It's okay.
The sailing,
I'm sorry, what
class, what grade was that?
That's just grade 2.
just for
Grade 2.
It really feels nice to come back to the school after hours and see it full again and the sports and everything happening. It feels like good, like, yeah.
Living, breathing.
Really nice, the
Yeah.
dance and the sports and yeah.
Kids are having a blast.
Thank you, Principal McKinnon. Anyone else? Questions, comments, Principal?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
on, when you approve the minutes, the November 9th meeting, I think you need to go back to sync and approve the remainder of the consent agenda. I do not believe you called for and took a vote on that.
Did we, John? I thought. Yeah, we did.
Did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My,
Items 4.2 through 4.6.
okay.
We did, Jen, did we?
My-
I believe so, yep.
Good. Okay.
All right. I missed it then. My apologies.
All right, item 6, superintendent report. Human resources update.
Hand it over to HR Coordinator Sedgwick.
Thank you, Chair Audie. I have just a very quick report this month. Due to our mid-year retirement of grade 7, 8 social studies teacher Ann Connolly, the superintendent has appointed Lee Torres to the position. Lee will start on January 23rd, which will allow him to work with Ann for a full week prior to her departure. We wish Ann all the best in her retirement after nearly 25 years here at Wilbraham School. And we also look forward to welcoming Mr. Torres to the 7-8 team. That is my report.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Do we do something? Teacher on that?
Yeah, how does that work? 25 years is quite the service. Do we do a gift certificate? Is that kosher? I mean, what are the rules with that?
There was a shindig at McGovern's.
Well, Shindig, I'm saying we don't need to be a part of it. We can contribute something. Is that allowed, Sean?
Is it allowed for you to contribute?
Like if we were all take $10 and buy a gift certificate, is that, I don't want to misspeak here.
I mean,
Can't be over $50. though.
Yeah.
There you go. There's
I-
rules, regulations.
yeah, I think if you wouldn't want to do something like that, you personally can.
She is being feted in a few weeks at McGovern's restaurant.
All right, as long as we're taking care of our own.
Actually, her last day,
Yep.
27th.
I was one of her first, like, in her first classes here at Wilbur.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said that out loud.
Yeah.
You were okay. We are up to finance report, 7.1, Mr. McNamee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So at this point, we've completed about 7 months of our year. And we're still targeting a surplus of approximately $93,000 for the upcoming year. Revenues will be on target. We're going to be up a little bit on our state aid versus our budget by $16,857. Interestingly, the state aid projections for the FY24 budget haven't been released yet. Normally we get those in December. The governor's budget, I think, is coming out on the 19th. So RIDE says we're going to be able to get those numbers at that point in time. So we'll get an idea at that point what's going to happen with state aid as we move forward. Most of the expenses are in line. We do have a little bit of an excess on the curriculum side for some additional curriculum-related expenditures. And of course, we still have that surplus that's sitting in the Portsmouth High School account as a result of the reduction in the number of students that we had from budget. If you recall, we had 87 students budgeted at 13.5, and we have 76 students through the first quarter that were attending. So there's a savings there. We do have 2 additional students going to Newport Career in Tech. We have 3 full-time and 2 part-time. So we have 4 full-time equivalents there. So we're seeing a little bit of an increase in that expenditure for the CTE tuition. So, but we're certainly on target to save some money in that area. And, we're earnestly working on the budget for FY24. I think we'll be meeting prior to the February school committee for the first budget workshop.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Mr. McNamee?
First budget workshop is scheduled for the beginning of February, and we'll plan on meeting prior to that. At the
That's the budget. Well, that's the workshop that you guys go through the budget. You know, that's a working session with the school committee.
Okay, it's just because our budget's due March 1st, right?
It's due. What's due March 1st is the amount of the request that we're going to be looking at from the town. And then the budget board obviously gets that, budget committee gets the budget, and they do their thing on the budget, so. But we cannot increase the budget anymore, but we request on March 1st. Obviously, they're in a position where they could decrease it.
I just wonder, is meeting in February, because we got to meet twice, right, for that?
Yeah, we have to have two meetings.
Pretty sure, yeah.
So I mean, why are we waiting until February to have something that's due by March 1st?
I mean, we have to wait for the governor to release. What, are we waiting on that, John?
We have the state aid, but, we're in the process of putting all the budget together. We could meet towards the end of January. I mean, you'll get the budget before that meeting, obviously, but. And the other thing is we have to kind of factor in some of the things that we discussed earlier.
Correct. There's a couple. Let the good times continue. Any other questions for Mr. McNamee?
No.
John, thank you. All right, committee reports, policy subcommittee. Ms. Hannah.
We have not met yet, so we have nothing to report this month.
I figured as much. I will do the Portsmouth School Committee liaison report. Their next meeting is the 17th, a December recap. Actually, some of the stuff that we already knew about, because when we were vetting where we were choosing our high school, they went over the AP numbers. They mourn the loss of Mrs. Karen Giannis. One thing I really like about the school committee meetings at Portsmouth, and I don't know if I'm not following other high schools, but they have a student portion, and the students, with the passing of the teacher, they took the initiative to do an art installation where there were butterflies everywhere. It was a social, emotional, and an artistic outreach. And I mean, these kids came up with it. So I was just really blown away by the care and kindness and really the empathy that these children have. And then they talked about our model UN, the students from Portsmouth going around. They were at UConn, Brown, one other school, it escapes me, might have been Boston College, but nonetheless, really excited about what Portsmouth offers. They went through all their AP programs. 400 kids 400 tests were taking last year. 75% of the kids passed. So it's a really robust school, and I'm excited to continue our relationship with them. Next, we have our Wellness Committee liaison report. And in Sue's defense, she reached out to me to get more information because I was just like, you're on this committee. It's going to be a great fit, but we haven't met yet. But if there's anything you'd like to share, add, or ask, feel free, or Lori. And the beauty is she gets to choose when the next meeting is. So it's on you, whenever works for you.
It's a wonderful, vibrant community.
It is a good group. And the Town Recreation Committee liaison report. Michael, do we have anything to report?
They were off for the month of December, and they will meet again January 23rd.
Beautiful. Okay, discussion items. 21st Century Technology and Equipment Fund Memorandum of Agreement. Is that what I am looking at here?
Take it. Yes, every now and then, the Department of Ed throws money, schools, and we don't say no. And
Yes.
just like the art grant that was $10,000, this is $25,000.
Gorgeous.
Of course, larger districts got more money. I think Mr. McNamee's other district got about $250,000 from the same funding source. And you should have a copy of it near you. It's pretty straightforward. And, we submit invoices, et cetera, et cetera. It's the same process that RIDE always puts into place.
Gorgeous.
We are looking towards using the funds for the various initiatives outlined in our 5-year capital improvement plan. And we're reasonably certain that $25,000 will be dedicated to upgrading this space with modular components and furnishings and to make it a more flexible, agile space than it is right now. So that's, Jonathan, would you like to add? Because it is technology and furniture and you are working with
Yeah, no, definitely.
staff.
No, we've kind of started having the conversations about both what this space can become, how we can make it a little bit more flexible, suitable for everybody else, but also how different components of that can tie into other pieces. We have a lot of the right equipment, but we don't really have much of a maker space or a lab space to work on. We don't have a good area where you could meet in larger groups outside of literally this space maybe, or the gym, which isn't as conducive to learning maybe, depending on what you're trying to do. So I think there's a lot of different options there, both when it comes to furnishings, equipment, the technology we can put in the space. I've been looking into really innovative charging solutions that can actually travel with the student lightly. So there's a lot of really cool options there. I think we're starting to tie in Karen here in the library, some of the other design and technology people as well. And there's a lot of ways we can go with it. I think we just need to figure out what will make the biggest impact with that money.
Nice.
Mr. McNamee, how many students do we need to get $250,000?
Well, we have about 3,400 students, I think.
There you go.
Above the bar.
We'll take our 25.
We will. We're never going to look, say, we'll take the gift horse, never look a gift horse in the mouth, right? That's what my mother used to say, something like that.
So that is money that does not have to be paid back. Correct.
No, grant. The more grants, the merrier. We do have to sign off on this, correct, Lori?
Yes,
I'm
all of you.
seeing, beautiful.
Shows no.
Item 10, public input. Anything you want to sing a song? No. All right. Item 11, consider a motion to vote, approve. Oh, excuse me. Any requests for administration? Legal counsel. Anything?
Guys, I'm not sure why right now we YouTube this, our meetings. Is there any reason why we can't go back to Zoom for interaction?
Yeah, we talked about this. Why is it the open meetings? Who kiboshed the Zoom? It was at the state level, right?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question off the top of my head of why you can't do Zoom. So I'll look into that. If you can't do Zoom, we'll have you switch back if you'd like.
Do you know Hannah by chance?
I believe that we could
I know.
Zoom as long as all of us are together in a room. I believe that the
That was mine.
participants could be on a Zoom meeting like we had.
I
think the thought,
can they communicate though? I
They
feel like
can.
that was the.
yeah, in Zoom you could communicate, in YouTube you cannot.
Right, so as a matter of the OMA, all elected members of the school committee must be physically present in a space and allow for public to be physically present. You still have the option to Zoom. And when I say have the option to Zoom, public can interact via Zoom.
Oh, they would still be
they
able to public
can.
comment. Why did that go away? I feel like that went away
Our
every.
district, well, I think most districts decided just to revert back to
In person.
in person fully.
So is Portsmouth doing it? Are they zooming?
Smith does what we do, I believe.
Live streaming.
I don't think they have
I don't
the
think so
option
either.
to participate via Zoom unless you were an invited member to.
And you can't make it.
In person coordinated.
Correct.
At a school committee meeting last night in another district that had Zoom up and running.
Okay. Yeah, so something to look into because I'm with,
We'll look into it more.
our numbers are down, people. Our numbers are down. We had 85 people in here a year ago and we went off the Zoom. Now
We can only-
Cox community you can't do. You got to get more people in here.
They don't want to come in person, perhaps.
Sometimes it's hard to get out of the
Well, that's the thing. It's
house.
hard. We talked about this, being parents, caretakers. This is like prime time. So if you could be, in the car and it's a pressing issue, you could at least be informed. And if you have a message, we screen them here. They got to say all their information. It's not like it's a rogue. So can we look into that, Sean? Just
I'll look into it.
ramifications?
Yep.
I mean, if I may, I think part of the maybe not the reasoning too, but the part of the reason I think a lot of municipalities, districts have switched back. Well, we never experienced this personally. There was a lot of abuse of the Zoom calls. People would get into the Zoom calls and try to play inappropriate,
Yeah.
share screens, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that is the downside.
Yeah.
We did not experience.
And verifying people's identity, like getting in the hand, knowing who they are. I think that became much more of a logistical nightmare, especially in bigger districts where they were trying to balance their in-person and their virtual audience. So it can be a lot, but with smaller meetings, not so much.
No, I agree. All right. Motion to consider and vote and adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Thank you all.
We'll set the next.
Stay curious.